If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it not help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Make We Talk Current Affair program. Wherever you're listening and watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean, welcome to the program. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tavares. We'll be speaking about Jamaica's housing project. My special guest this evening will be Senator Floyd Morris, opposition spokesperson on housing and sustainable living from the People's National Party. We're also going to have in our discussion, my co-host will be Wilfred Radigan and also Head Boy. Mr. Radigan will be coming on this evening. We'll be speaking some more about Jamaica's housing problem. As you all know, the Housing Trust was established by Michael Manley to assist the Jamaican people. Good afternoon, everyone in the chat. Good afternoon, those who are just joining us. I'm asking you to share up this live feed. Share up this live feed as much as you can to all your friends and family. This evening also we have an announcement to make. One of the students of the Make We Talk program has donated funds to buy some shirts, and I must ask questions to give away the shirts. So I'm going to do that, but not now. I'll do that at the end of the program. But I want everyone to come on into the program as we discuss Jamaica's housing crisis and the plans that the opposition spokesperson on housing has for the Jamaican people. As you know, the Housing Trust was established as far back as in the 1970s under the leadership of the man who have the poor people interest at heart in this country. And I speak none other than the late Michael Joshua Manley. The late Michael Joshua Norman Manley. He was the one who established the National Housing Trust in Jamaica. And based on what we know so far, the Housing Trust was put there to assist the Jamaican people, not to take money out of the Housing Trust to give to to top up the Jamaican budget. It was never put there for that purpose. The National Housing Trust, hey, good evening, walking in divine purpose. Welcome to the program, welcome back. I was just gonna send you the link and everything, you know. I was just gonna do it to you. Don't be upset with me. As we come on, yes, the Housing Trust was established by Michael Manley to assist the Jamaican people in getting affordable houses. Over the years, the Housing Trust was not in the obviously they did not, government of the government don't think that the Housing Trust was put there to assist Jamaicans with affordable houses. The two political parties has topped up the budget from the Housing Trust, but this one in particular has continued to dip in the budget of the Housing Trust. And they have loaned or given other people money to build houses in Jamaica. And you wonder, you ask the question, is this for the poor class of Jamaicans? Well, this evening, my special guest, opposition spokesperson on housing and sustainable living, Senator Floyd Morris, will be my special guest this evening. And he'll be coming on to speak to us. And we're going to have a little history on the Housing Trust. But before we go there, last night there was something going on in Kingston last night. And what we see so far, or hear so far rather, I hope the mic is coming over clearly. Are you hearing me clearly there? Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. What we see so far is this, that gunshot rang out in the vicinity of the Labour Party meeting. Now this evening, I run a breaking news this evening. Let me go back and find it here. I run a breaking news this evening that I run a breaking news this evening on, it came over the Jamaica Observer. Let me look for it here. It came over the Jamaica Observer that five men was gunned down in Jacks Hill. Here it is. 5 men were shot and killed in an altercation with the police in Jacks Hill this afternoon in St. Andrew. In the same breath, news reaching us also was, let me find it here and let you read it to you. 5 men were shot and killed in an altercation between the police and themselves sometime after 12 p.m. today. And there, based on what we're hearing, we're going back to the topic we're going to speak about, you know. But based on what we're hearing, an item of news that reached me in the same breath this afternoon is that the gunmen was going to carry out a series. I wouldn't say a series, but this is it. Update. 5 men down. 4 guns were recovered. CTOC rather, Special Op Team reportedly tracked the men who were allegedly on their way to allegedly on their way to carry out a hit. The men were from West Kingston. Weren't they having the JLP meeting last night in West Kingston? Somewhere in Kingston there? I think it was somebody West Kingston, I'm not sure. Well, the police was good enough to gun down these 5 men. And the 5 men, it's alleged that they're on their way to carry out a hit. Thank you very much. Walking in Divine Purpose. The gunmen was on their way to carry out a hit when the police intercept them, track them down. It is said that these men are from West Kingston. Now, I won't go any further in this, because there was a video going around on social media with a gentleman, and I asked the question, how is it that, I'll take off this thing here. I don't like to see these things that they send to me. How is it that these men decide to carry out a hit this morning, but last night gunshot rang out in an area where the Labour Party, they were having their conferences? I won't go deeper in this, I won't go deeper in this, but something no look good here. Something no look good. 5 men were shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with the police in Jacks Hill area of St. Andrew this afternoon. The Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, Assistant Commissioner Campbell say the police have reported this incident. Now, when I got the news, I didn't get it as yet. But based on all of this, there are some questions that we're asking, and some people need to answer the questions. Let's not go down in that road. For the heck of it, I think I'm going to play it. Hold on there for me. I'm going to put up this thing here. Hold on there for me. Hold on. For the heck of it, I'm going to play it. Because we, the Jamaican people, must ask these people in authority some questions. They said that the comrades are the one who is stoning JUTC buses. All right? Now, something happened last night. We're going to get back to Senator Morris. So come on. And we asked the question, something happened last night. And believe you me, I don't know. I pray and hope that this election no go back to the 1980s, I pray and hope that when the Prime Minister called the election, it does not go back down in the 1990s election, the 1980s rather election, the 1980s election, where Jamaicans were brutally gunned down in this country in the name of politics. And those who govern the country get away scotch-free. Nothing wrong with them. So I pray and hope that this election will not go in the same breath of the 1980s. We're standing by to join other people who's going to come on to the program. My good friend Head Boy is supposed to be coming on. Oh, here he is. Head Boy, good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Brother Jeffrey, how are you?
I'm here looking and living like the late Wilmot Mutty Perkins. You remember what Mutty said? Head Boy.
Yes.
I said I'm here looking and living like the late Wilmot Mutty Perkins.
Oh well, it's good to look and live like be looking and living like the late Monty Perkins, a very illustrious journalist.
Indeed.
Yes? A man I know would have taught you would have learned quite a lot from, and somebody in his latter part of his years of his life, I would have learned quite a lot from as well.
Yes.
At the anger at many of the comrades who grow me. So I want to pay tribute and homage to Monty Perkins, somebody I've had the highest regard for, and somebody I never normally talk about too, Winston Babatunde.
Yes.
Jeffrey, if Winston Babatunde was alive and Monty Perkins, this government's feet will be held to the fire. Yeah?
Indeed.
They would have been feeling the fire, because when Winston Babatunde say, "How we go?" I said, "How we go?" Huh?
And
How we go?
then he would have said, "Lord, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I have from you, O God. If thou should withdraw thyself from Jamaica, what would happen to this great nation of ours?" As we stand by to join one of Jamaica's finest senators of all time, Senator Floyd Morris, is going to come and speak to us about a plan that Michael Manley had for the poor people of this country. We're also going to have gracing us with his president, Mr. Wilfred Radigan. But Head Boy, I want to give a little history about the Housing Trust. Yes. The National Housing Trust, NHT, in Jamaica was established in 1976. You know, one of Michael Manley's vision for this country, would you say that, Head Boy? A vision in which he established for the poor class of Jamaicans. But now the Housing Trust is not for the Jamaican people. It's for the people of the Vum-Vavon and the Vum-Vavi.
And the Vum-Vavi, yes.
Yes. Because Housing Trust... Go ahead for me, go ahead.
So remember, let us understand why the NHT was created. Because I think many people don't take time to understand what was the prevailing realities that forced Comrade Michael Manley and Comrade Anthony Spalding, yes, where that meeting was held last night. It was a very symbolic meeting by the PNP to have had the young people gathered at Tony Spalding complex. Because what occurred out of the vision of Michael Manley was when he came to leadership in 72, the housing stock of Jamaica was heavily destroyed. I want people to hear me. Remember, we had a 51 storm. Yeah? It was called the 51 storm. You hear old people talk about the 51 storm. That storm forced multiple Jamaicans across the length and breadth of Jamaica to change what would have been now their modus operandi in building. Before 1951, most of our houses in Jamaica were thatch houses, you know, especially among the poorer classes of Jamaicans. Yeah? They were living in thatch roofs. The 51 storm forced adjustments for many people. Yeah. And when Michael came, he saw a dilapidated housing stock in Jamaica. Housing stock virtually non-existent. Yeah? Virtually non-existent in many of our areas. The lands were tied up. Yeah? the lands were tied up. And the idea of the NHT then was to give the ordinary man, the farmer, the teacher, the nurse, yeah, the man who don't have the money to access the buildings to get houses through the NHT. So we come to 76 when he enacts this piece of legislation to incorporate the NHT. And let
Yeah.
me tell you, it is one of the greatest achievement of any administration in Jamaica because of the protections that have been put in place to ensure that the NHT, the funds of the contributors of the NHT is secured. And well, we see some of that, some questionable things happening now. But the trust itself was structured so that, and if you were really to give credit to administrations, not just the PNP, the JLP, but
Yes.
administration over the years, we must give them credit for still keeping the NHT alive. Yeah? For still
I
keeping it
agree.
alive.
I agree with you with that, head boy. What I don't like though is when successive government after government dip into the NHT to top up the budget and don't put it back.
Yeah, but Jeffrey, we needed Andrew Holness and Nigel Clark needed to have stopped the nonsense, and the JLP needs to stop this nonsense. The PNP had difficulties during 2012 to 2015, 16 thereabout. They tapped into the NHT. They rule, the fiscal rule, the NHT's extraction should have stopped in 2020.
Mm.
They extended the extraction. So it should not have been for such a long time. Yes? It should not have been for such a long time. And that is why what Mark Golden is saying now. As a result of extracting this close to $11 billion annually from the NHT, what we're now going to do is for every housing development, for every of those 50,000 houses that is being built, the contributors of the NHT will not pay a red cent for the land. Read my lips. They will not pay a
They can't
red
see your lips
cent
though.
for the land. Huh?
They can't see if you read your lips though.
Well, hear my voice. Sorry. Why, Jeff, you need to be serious, you know.
And I'm serious.
I know you're serious. But hear my voice. The contributors will not pay for the land. Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
You know why, Jeffrey? It shows you that Mark Golding is a considerate leader and he has a spokesperson on housing who is very considerate. Yeah. But I don't want to get too much in the PNP housing plan yet because I know Mr. Morris is going to come and speak. But I just want to give some flesh to the sense of, for example, if we should go back to Andrew Holness's promise of 70,000 houses. And
Yes.
this old boy lie, you know, he lie bad, you know, Jeffrey. Yeah?
Hold on there for me, head boy. Pick up in there's an item of news coming in where listen to this. That's how an item of news, sorry, an item of news coming to from us. The People's National Party is demanding that Darrell Vaz withdraw his reckless comment following a shooting near a JLP meeting last night. Continue for me.
Well, I was waiting on them to send out the response, but I won't comment on it because I won't give bad mind Daryl any traction.
Yeah.
Now, Jeffrey, when you look at the pledge of the Prime Minister for these 70 houses, 70 houses he said he was going to 70,000 houses, he said he was going to build. You know, the Prime Minister has not built more than 14,000 of those houses.
Yeah.
Out of the 70 he said he was going to build. This is the lowest amount of houses the NHT has built since its existence.
So what I want to know though, Headboard, you see the Prime Minister, the whole entourage of people traveling to one cut ribbon to open a house.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying to me that he is below the amount of houses they're supposed to build for the people of this country?
Yes, but you hear when Senator Morris comes, we will ask him the numbers and he will give us the numbers and he will confirm
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That
I
the
know I
man is
believe you,
below
but
the.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's below. When at first, when Senator Morris said it, I was saying, hold on, what's Senator Morris saying? So I went back to go look back at the numbers.
Mm.
Because what Andrew Holness is doing, he's putting schemes that have not been completed as numbers that they have built. In Galena, and when Senator Morris come, I'll ask him this. In Galena, in St. Mary, in Western St. Mary, yes, he is
Mm.
earmarking piece of land from the church to do the housing there in Western St. Mary. When you go on the NHT website, they say they say construction has commenced and the project is supposed to be finished in 2026. Jeffrey then don't
Mm.
even clear up the land down there.
What?
When Senator Morris come, we'll ask him and you'll see, because he's a St. Mary man. They have not cleared up the land down there.
I want to say good evening to a friend of mine who is on the platform here and a friend of Head Boy,
Who's that?
the Reverend Dr. Paul Blake,
Ah, bless the
the
man
man
from St.
who,
Mary.
yes, man, the man who I tell you, when you hear him praying, man, it moves every
Oh, very
fiber
good
of your
young man.
being.
Very good young man. Very good man.
Welcome to the
Very good man
program,
of
sir.
God.
Yes, Head Boy, continue what you're talking about with the housing, the very
Mhm.
low on support.
Right. So I'm saying, so his numbers are way below than what any administration before him has achieved.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Two, the what he has done to the NHT by bringing it to his oligarchs, yeah, because he
Mm-hmm.
has turned the NHT into a. Remember, we had the Dexim all in situations,
Yes.
where a certain individual was given preferential treatment to go build up. Same I go build low income housing down a center and we take it out the house them sell for 30 and $40 million. Yeah? So
Mm.
we see where the JLP's modus operandi, where housing is concerned, is that they have been approaching this housing situation as if they don't care. And let me tell you, one parish in particular, three parishes in particular, that should teach the JLP a lesson where housing is concerned is
Mm-hmm.
one, the parish of St. Mary, because the JLP for 9 years haven't had two member of parliaments consecutively, yeah, have
Yes.
not opened a housing scheme in St. Mary. The last time a housing scheme was opened by now outgoing member of parliament, Dr. Morris Guy, who people need to give respect to him because he brought the housing scheme with Portia. Portia was the last prime minister to give St. Mary a housing scheme. It's called
Yeah.
National Housing Scheme. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
There's abundant land in Westmoreland is the next place I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Westmoreland should teach the JLP a lesson because they said to Westmoreland, the PNP now treat you good. Nobody not care about you. And Westmoreland took the decision in 2020 to go with the JLP because they thought that they would have been treated better, especially where housing is concerned. And have you
Yeah.
seen the JLP building a major housing down in Westmoreland where the people can afford?
No, sir. Mm-mm.
Westmoreland particularly is a special parish because Westmoreland is the only parish in Jamaica where over the years they have had a culture of where they move the houses when they're moving. You know what I'm
Mm.
talking about, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Yeah? So here was an opportunity for the JLP to have revolutionized a special program for the people of Westmoreland that would cater to more low-income housing to their liking and to their affordability. Yeah? They
Yes.
didn't do that. They didn't look on it. Most of the houses you see NHT that is being built by NHT is being built in St. Ann, is being built in Clarendon, Trelawney, yeah, and most
Yeah.
of them are and in Montego Bay, but most of those houses are houses that is out of the reach of the people. And so this is what the
Mm-hmm.
People's National Party is saying. Let's level the playing field, remove the land price. Because when you go to the trust, let's look at the NHT as a trust for people now. when you go to the trust, Jeffrey,
Yes.
the cost that you pay for the house. So what the NHT give you as the loan, and let me explain to people how the loan work. You're qualified, NHT says you have the ability to qualify, yada yada yada. They look at your pay and whatever, yes, your contribution rate. You get in. The first thing that the NHT does is they ask you, what are you looking? Are you looking house? Or are you looking land with house? Yeah. Remember in that discussion, there's only a portion of the NHG money that you can use for land and a portion that you can use for house. You can't use the whole light and house.
Yes.
Yeah? Unless the land is included in the house price, that you could use just the total sum on the house. So what Mark Golding and his team is suggesting is the land portion will be removed. So if the house is a 2-bedroom, would ordinarily be 8 million or 10 million.
Yes.
You won't be, or 14 million, sorry, for a 2-bedroom. You won't be paying for the land. And that's important. That's an important component because we have a landless set of people in Jamaica. People who have been deprived of their land. Jeffrey, there's sufficient land in Jamaica to give every citizen of Jamaica who lives in Jamaica a piece of the rock.
I have joining me now Mr. Wilfred Radigan from Reset Radigan program. So Will, I think he's here trying to sort out something there. So we're going to continue. We are waiting the arrival of our special guest this evening. Professor Senator Floyd Morris will be on this evening with us to speak to us. Yes, sir. We're hearing you loud and clear, but we're not seeing you at all, sir.
Yes, I'll be on shortly. Good evening, everyone. Head boy, big up yourself.
Big up yourself, Sir Ratigan. Hey, I want to tell you, brethren, right now you make Daryl a fret.
No, him shouldn't have fret right now. Him for fret. Yeah, actually, you're right. You're supposed to have fret because this week I'm gonna be more explosive than last week. This Saturday.
You're the man of your voices in the med, same here, gunshot of fire.
Well, we have some more things. Every day we are dig and work. And right now we have some things that we don't want the public know. But we're going to bring it out to the public because that's our job.
Of course.
Indeed.
But it was a good program on Saturday, Sir Ratigan. I want to tell you, I spoke to some persons and they said to me, brethren, Ratigan really exposed this busting on a deeper level on Saturday. Because people are now making the connection. Yeah, they're now making the connections. And we don't have to call nobody name, but they're making the connections. And the important thing is the people's eyes were open. And I thank Damon Sunday now who come and tell us, see mathematics, it's 300 million, everything come up too. So I'm certain on Saturday, and your part 2, 3. It's going to be a serious deep dive. Over to Jeffrey. Welcome, brother.
Yeah, we start, even today we were working on it, and we had some stuff from the last 2 weeks that we haven't touched yet because we're looking at it from different angles. Looking at it from the angles of the personalities involved, the relationships. We're also looking at it from procurement, the procurement aspect of it. Because remember, the minister came out and said, him responsible, him do everything. And we know that based on the regulations, he's not supposed to be in the mix. So him get himself in the mix. So whatever comes his way, him just have to accept it because the chief technical director for corporate services, that's the person who's responsible for procurement. And that person is supposed to brief that person reports directly to the permanent secretary. And so, and if you look at the law, procurement law, the minister is not mentioned there in the scheme of things. So now he's saying that, look, I'm the one, I did all of these things. So when we show all of these things now, we can just go directly to him and say, well, you said you were responsible for this. And also, you know, he complained about people being disingenuous. And I'm going to show the people on Saturday that there's no more, the disingenuity is committed by the minister because we're going to show some things that him conveniently left out. He might chant history and him go back to 2011 and then him come to 2015 and then him come to 2025 and then forget that there are some things that happened in 2017. So
yes.
Well, we have all the tapes, you know, so him can't run from his own voice, you know what I mean? He gave interviews to Nationwide, and him say a lot of things. So we're just going to take him to task on the things that he mentioned. Not things that we say him say, but you're going to hear out of his own mouth. And also, there's a part in our head, boy, that Jamaicans on a whole going to be very, very disappointed. And I can tell you right now, the man said in one of the interviews that they have some Jamaicans who have degrees after them name, and I'm paraphrasing him now. They have degrees after them names, and he have no degree. But then he went on to say that it's common sense. Jamaican people have common sense, and him say, but there are very few of us with the common sense. So if you look at the people with degrees, and you look at the people with common sense, very few. So that means that the majority of Jamaica don't spot. That's what I tell you, idiot. Huh? Yeah, he must say we are idiot. So he must say what was that?
And he's being very forward with it because he's the decoy way in which he's doing it, right? He's saying, oh, common sense is not so common. Yeah? But him have common sense. So it is not so common, but you have common sense. So what makes you so special and privileged that you have common sense that is not so common, but the other people...
Sorry about that, gentlemen. I was speaking to the good Senator Floyd Morris. He's going to come on. He's just having a little technical difficulties to come on.
No problem.
As we talk about housing in this country, Mr. Rattigan and Headboy, as we wait the arrival of Senator Professor Floyd Morris to come on to the program, who is one of Jamaica's pioneering this housing thing, the Porsche initiative. Mr. Rattigan, you know back in the days that a lot of Jamaicans, even now, having a housing problem. Your take on that?
Well, I just have to go back to the promises made by the government. And they made some remarkable promises that they're going to, everybody going to get a house.
70,000 houses.
There you go. And then the question is, from 2016 till now, how many houses have been built and handed over to poor people?
14,000.
70 versus 14. All right. Where the match thrown in, where the match thrown in.
But Jeffrey and Ratty, this is what I have to tell Andrew and Daryl, right? But Jeffrey, it does not infringe on copyright. I just want to hear this. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me get it back. What's happening here? Yeah.
Not really clear at all. All right, boy. Yes. Yes.
You know, that is a lie.
When we... Okay, hold on for me. I think I have Senator here with us. Hold on. Indeed. There he goes. Senator, how are you doing?
Not too bad.
I have with me Mr. Wilfred Rattigan and my other co-host, Headboy.
Okay, great to be on your program.
Indeed. Senator Morris is the People's National Party opposition spokesperson on housing and sustainable living.
Yes.
Senator Morris, I want you to tell us about the whole housing thing in Jamaica, because you have a part that have rent to own. You also have one that special low interest rate for public sector workers, and go and so on and so forth. But I want to start with you telling us who Senator Morris is.
Okay, well, Senator Floyd Morris is Jamaican, originating from the parish of St. Mary, Baileysville, to be exact. And I attended Port Maria Primary School, and I developed visual problems whilst I was attending St. Mary High School after I passed common entrance in 1983. And I graduated from high school without any academic subject in 1986. And by 1989, I got totally blind because of a glaucoma.
Yes, sir.
But in spite of that, I, decided that I was going to pick up the pieces and put my life together. And drawing on a foundational tenet of my life that my mother instilled in me, and that was education, I decided that I was going to make use of my life using education as the means of social transformation. So I had to leave St. Mary to get to Kingston to seek rehabilitation at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, and that I did in 1991. And after that, I went to Michael Evening College, where I restarted my education, and I completed my O and A levels there. Moved on to the University of the West Indies in 1993 after getting the subjects at Michael for the university. And I completed my first degree. And it has just opened a whole appetite for me in terms of academia, because when you see that as a blind person, you are able to do this, your appetite becomes open for more. And so I moved on to doing my master's, which I completed in 2000. And then I took a break because I was involved with national politics as a Minister of State in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And by 2012, I came back into academia to complete my PhD, and that I did by 2017. And so I've been at the University of the West Indies from 2009, heading the Center for Disability Studies, and I completed the PhD in 2017, as I had indicated, and worked towards my professorship, which I achieved in 2024. So I'm now a professor at the University of the West Indies, while serving as one of 8 opposition senators in the Parliament of Jamaica and the deputy chairman for the People's National Party, as well as the opposition spokesperson for housing and sustainable living. So that, in a nutshell, constitute who Floyd Morris is.
And I must say congratulations on the behalf of the Make We Talk program, on the behalf of Mr. Rattigan and Head Boy, congratulations in you obtaining your professorship at the University of the West Indies.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My question to you this afternoon or this evening, Professor, is this: that I wanted to speak to us some more about the rent-to-own housing plan that you have, the Portia initiative.
Okay, so there are 2 distinct initiatives under our housing plan.
Yes.
So we intend to build 50,000 what we call affordable houses, because over the past 10 years, the government has not been focusing on low-income earners in the market. These are individuals who are a significant block of NHT contributors. They're talking about 48% of NHT contributors are deemed to be low-income earners. And they have not been able to find any affordable houses in the market. And so there's a major problem there. And so what we have said is that we must cater to this market. There's a lot of houses that are being built which caters to individuals who are able to afford a mortgage upwards of $20 million. but nothing is being done for those individuals who cannot afford a house of that magnitude. So we're going to be creating this 50,000 houses over a 5-year period. And in that, we are going to be implementing what we call the rent to buy initiative. Now, what this means is that a barber or a household helper or a taxi driver or a farmer who does not have a monthly pay slip,
yes,
they don't get a salaried income on a monthly basis, they will be able to rent some of these units. And upon renting these units, we will see how they make their monthly payment.
Yes, sir.
Over probably a 6-month period. And based on the consistency of their payment, we would know that these individuals are able to honor their obligation and commitment. We would see a consistent income payment pattern, and we would work with them to convert that arrangement into a mortgage facility where they will now become homeowners than becoming renters of the property. And that is an exciting prospect, for those individuals who are not salaried individuals, but they are working and they are earning and can make their contribution. So we are catering, is a whole of society approach that the Mark Golding led PNP is adopting, because our mantra and our mission is to leave no one behind. We want to take into consideration a whole of society approach where marginalized and vulnerable populations are brought into our development plan. And then we have the Portia initiative, which is what we call the Program for the Orderly Renewal and Transformation of Infrastructure in all areas. And it's acronymized as Portia, in recognition of our only female prime minister in Jamaica, and one who has been a fearless warrior for the downtrodden in Jamaica. And the Portia initiative, we will seek to tear down zinc fences in inner city communities and right across Jamaica, and replace them with concrete walls or chain link fences. We are going to be making sure that we improve sidewalks for our senior citizens and persons with disabilities. And when you improve sidewalks, it's not just those vulnerable populations alone that will benefit, because you have pregnant and lactating mothers who will benefit, as well as joggers, jogging enthusiasts who will benefit from that as well. But the major beneficiaries will be our senior citizens and persons with disabilities who will be able to navigate their communities with greater ease. And then, we have indicated that we are going to be integrating all of those incomplete Operation Pride developments across Jamaica under the Portia initiative to make sure that we complete them, because we had brought them to a point in 2016 where we would have handed over the titles to them and complete the infrastructure work. But, there was a change in administration. And since the change in administration, they never continued with the work that was done on those Operation Pride development. And we intend to complete them and hand over the almost 70,000 titles that that I've been told should have been handed over to the people, because that work was done by the entity at the time that was responsible for the Operation Pride initiative. And we are going to be completing that, because we believe that we must empower our people through land ownership, land tenureship. And it's something that we are very much committed to. The previous Patterson administration had caused 58,000, both Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller, 58,000 Jamaicans to own land titles because of the Operation Pride initiative. And we intend to complete that and bring it to its logical conclusion. We are going to make modifications to how it is administered and to make sure that it is very efficient and that the people benefit. And of course, critical to that Portia initiative is improvement in the infrastructure of old housing schemes that have been run down, and the road infrastructure has deteriorated. The sewage system has collapsed basically, and we are going to be doing a lot of infrastructure work where that is concerned over time. So it's a major initiative that the Mark Golding-led PNP will be bringing to the table to make sure that we bring a total renewal and transformation of the Jamaican society.
Yes. Professor, I want to hand over to Mr. Rattigan. He has a question for you. Will?
Okay.
Senator, again, welcome and good afternoon or good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rattigan.
Yes, sir. I have a question here for you. And actually, the question is not even mine. It's one of the listeners. I can't take credit for something that is not mine. Yeah. So the question is, how will this program, and that's the Pride Development Program, how will this program avoid past corruption or project failures? And that's followed by a second question, which is, what lessons were learned from schemes like Operation Pride or other stalled housing projects?
Well, and thank you very much for that question. I mean, we have heard the argument of corruption, and I am not going to defend anything that I don't know about, but save and except to say that anything that this Mark Golding-led administration will be involved in, we will make a very strong stance where corruption is concerned, because corruption robs the people of vital resources. And so we're going to be putting in place the necessary administrative procedures, and we are going to be having new individuals who will be involved in the whole administration and implementation. And you can rest assured, I've been in politics at the national level and at the parliamentary level for 23 years. And my name has never been associated or linked to any form of corrupt practice. And it's not going to start now, because I've always said, Mr. Rattigan, that a blind man will always be afraid of prison, because when you go to prison and you are in confinement and you see and you can't see the walls them around you, when harm and danger is coming, you can't run. So, I am not going to put myself to that sort of risk now. And I mean, I say also to contractors who will be involved with the various Operation Pride initiatives, that they don't have to worry or fret about, boy, we sign a contract and the minister forget him thing, The minister forget him thing. I don't want absolutely one dime from any contractor where work on projects for the people are concerned. I don't want a dime. I thank God I grew up in an environment where my mother taught me very well how to make do with what I have. And so, I don't need to eat lobster and I don't need to eat all of those exotic food. Right? I know how well a nice roast plantain tastes with the ackee in coconut sauce. I know very well how that is nutritious and satisfying. So
our roast yam and saltfish, Senator.
Absolutely. So I mean, so on one hand, you're talking about how I operate personally and how I intend to conduct myself as a minister, but also the administrative strictures that would be put in place to ensure that any act of corruption takes place, will be exposed. And already our leader, Mark Golding, has signaled to all of us in the shadow cabinet that his cabinet will have no room, no space for corrupt practices. And, if we are going to come into politics to enrich ourselves, then, we can know that we won't be included in his team. So I am very much committed to that. I am from the people, and God has been good to me. God has blessed me tremendously. So, I don't need to come and plunder state resources, as I have heard being bantered around the place what is taking place now in the current administration.
Yes.
Let me ask a follow-up, Senator. You mentioned that the word plunder. So there's, you're not looking to come and plunder, and the party is not looking to come and plunder. But you can only plunder if there's something to be plundered. And based on what we're seeing in terms of the corruption and how monies are being spent, and Mr. Tavares has made mention of this on several occasions, that audits need to be done, because when you get there, you might find that there's nothing there. So assuming that, so based on the polling, and let's just make the assumption that your party is successful at the polls, how are you going to finance these projects, these two projects that you mentioned?
Yes. All right. Well, one of the things, and before I answer that, you mentioned about the audits, because that is going to be critical. You can't take over running a country and running a ministry without knowing what you have, where you are, and what exists. Because I will tell you, it's not going to be a matter of witch hunt. But if I go and I find improprieties taking place, action is going to take place, because we have to make sure that we protect the people's resources. It is not a political party resource. The resources don't belong to the PNP or the JLP. It is the people's resources, and we have to make sure that we hold those who have been entrusted with the responsibility of administration. We have to hold them to account. Now, you mentioned about financing, how these will be financed, and I am very happy that you raised it, because what we have decided and discussed is that the 50,000 houses that will be built are not houses that will be built and given away. We are expecting to make a profit from these from the sale of these houses, and we intend to use a portion of the profit to fund the Porsche initiative, along with our regular allocations from the consolidated fund that have been earmarked over the years. So, you know, it's a mixture of budgetary financing plus what we are going to be earning from the houses that will be sold. Some of those profits will be injected into that. Plus, you know, I have discovered in my work and my travels and association with the United Nations that there is a lot of grant funding out there to do different things, and especially within the context of climate change, there's a lot of funding that are available for projects, you know, in communities, and these are available. And so, you know, we will be doing a mixture of funding approaches to complete these initiatives that we will be implementing.
Head boy, you have a question for Senator? Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted.
Oh, sorry. Yes, definitely. My question to Senator. Good evening, Senator.
Hi,
Thank you for joining us. I want to say it is a privilege to sit with a fellow parish, you know, a good man from St. Mary, a good man from St. Mary. We know nothing but good things about you in St. Mary, in the good village of Baileysville and Portmore and its surrounds. But
yes.
the question I want to ask is closer to home in Western St. Mary.
Yes.
The Ministry of Housing through National Housing Trust apparently acquired some lands, and I know you'd know about it, from the United Church. Yes? In Galena, right beside the primary school. That is supposedly earmarked for housing development. Every minute you go on the NHT's website, you see these supposedly schemes coming up with expected and completion dates. But when you really look, these schemes that are not completed, have not even commenced any work, is added in the number of expected completed houses. So I want you to address us, Senator, because that one I know personally. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know there's not even a tractor has gone over to that place to clear it up. So how can 300 houses be added to the list of completed projects by the NHT in Western St. Mary? So can you give us some information on how the party intends to treat St. Mary, that has been a neglected parish in terms of NHT housing developments? The last one was done by your good friend Dr. Guy in Nashville. St. Mary has not seen a housing development since.
All right, head boy, you're a brilliant head boy, and I'm very happy that you give me the opportunity to address this very deceptive and very corrupt, I should say, call it for what it is, behavior. Because, you know, I heard the Prime Minister the other day made a pronouncement that the government has achieved the target for 70,000 houses. And what I have gathered from this announcement is that they have included in what they call housing starts in it. Now, housing starts is what you just described. You know, you designate an area for housing development, and there are subdivisions, but you don't necessarily have to have a single unit constructed on that to include in the numbers, right? I recently I toured and I was doing some canvassing work in that same community that you made mention. So I am aware of it, right? But
yes.
I also visited a place in St. Catherine called Colbeck. I think it's
Yes.
called Village of Colbeck.
In Old Harbor.
Yes, and there are 2,000 houses that should be built there, and that project started from 2023. And what has been done there is the placing of the infrastructure. Road is there, and they are putting some drainage and so forth, and they have done the subdivisions. But that's it. No housing construction has taken place over there. But these numbers are included in this figure that the Prime Minister is talking about. Now, I say, people, when the Prime Minister made this commitment, when it was first made in 2016 and repeated in 2020. But when he made those commitments, he never said that he was going to deliver housing starts to Jamaicans. He said that he was going to build 70,000 houses. 70,000 houses. So to come and claim in 2025 that he has achieved that target, it is very deceptive and it is a blatant lie. It is a blatant lie. And I want to say that we don't treat housing starts as a final housing product. And I tell you, when I looked again back at the data that the Prime Minister himself presented, in 2023, he said that, the NHT was committed to building 43,000 of the 70,000 houses, whilst the HAJ would provide another 15,000 houses. So that is a total of 58,000 houses. I don't know who would provide the other 12,000 because he never stated that. But he said of the 43,000, NHT would provide 35,000, which was at various stages. And then he said that the other 8,000, they would figure out how they would proceed with that. This is information that is on the OPM website and the JIS website. So it's not something that I am making up or concocting where the Prime Minister is concerned. Right? These are data that I'm giving you, taking it from the sources, official sources of the government. But when you look at the NHT annual report between 2023 and 2025,
yes,
you are not seeing those completed houses.
Absolutely.
Over the past 2 years, between 2023 and now, the NHT has just completed and brought to the market just over 5,000 houses. Just over 5,000 houses between 2023, 2024, and now. Okay? So, I don't understand where it is that the NHT, based on the pronouncement of the Prime Minister in 2023, could complete 43,000 houses in a 2-year period. It is a deep deception from the government. And, it is because if you are following the dialogue and the discussion in Jamaica, and if you look at the meetings of the People's National Party, when the whole issue of housing comes up, whether myself or the comrade leader speak about housing, the tremendous response that we are getting based on what we have announced to the people, it has placed the Prime Minister and the government under pressure because they have abandoned the low-income earners of this country in terms of housing solutions. And what we have said to the people is that the 50,000 houses that we are going to build, here what we are going to do when we build it in order to bring the price at an affordable point to you. Yeah. We are going to ensure that the land portion, you're not going to pay for the land. You're going to get the land, you know, you're going to own the land, but you're not going to pay for it in the housing cost. And that is significant. It is creating significant traction, but it is also going to build up equity. Right away, we are empowering Jamaicans, because if the house and the land would come out at, say, $13 million, example, and we build the house, we are aiming to build these units below 10 million to take them to market. Yes. What it means, you know, what it means is right away, you're going to get equity of about $4 million. That is how you empower people, you know. Yes. That is a government that cares about its people and want to build and expand its middle class. And that is what a Mark Golding-led PNP is going to do with the houses that we are going to be building. And as you ask about St. Mary, St. Mary, keep pretend to a song, you know where it called?
St. Mary me come from. You should have known.
All right. That answers your question.
Exactly. But Jeffrey, one quick follow-up with Senator. Because Senator mentioned the Housing Agency of Jamaica. And that Housing Agency of Jamaica is one of the problematic institutions that we are seeing in terms of their arrangement with housing. And, you know, I've been watching the former Minister Perennial Charles Jr., who, when he went there, created some serious problems at the HAJ. Particularly, I'm referring to a development called the Elshire View Developments. Yes? That many persons have paid down for their property in the development, purchased their lots and purchased their homes. And to this day, Senator Morris, the situation cannot be resolved. And yes. I am saying it is untenable. I know the contractor very well from Clarendon. I know who he supports and who he finances. But we're not going to get personal because the man is a contractor and he's a Jamaican. I am saying that the Ministry of Housing needs to tidy up this. Imagine you are leaving people who have spent their monies. The government pitched this idea to them, had the discussions even at the diaspora conference to some of these people who have purchased their homes up in Elshire View. And to this day, they can't get an answer as to what is going to be the true state of the development. And the developer got sufficient funds to finance the development. But, you know, Senator, I'm not going to say where those funds might have gone, because we know that in Clarendon, that developer is known to be a financier of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes. I am so aware of the situation because I am being inundated with WhatsApp messages and references from my leader about the situation. And you see, the Prime Minister is the person who is responsible for the HAJ, right? And it is a mess what is taking place at the institution right now, you know. And I want to take this opportunity to call upon the Prime Minister because it is his portfolio. If you care about the people who have invested in this Elshire View housing development, you need to step up to the plate and resolve it, because it is your portfolio. You have taken on a multitude of portfolios under your belt, and they are crumbling under your feet, Mr. Prime Minister, because the people are suffering. And, I must also add to that, because I want to lay blame at the feet of the government for the massive, the exponential increase in the price, the cost of housing across this country. Yes, it is true that, we have a great demand for houses in the country, and we know that our Jamaicans overseas want to own a piece of this rock, and they have been demanding housing development, and we support all of that. But a government is supposed to demonstrate control in any development in the society. And when you have a government coming into the market and building houses that is going to cost $28 and $38 million, they are going to contribute to the pushing up of the price of houses. And when you see a government selling just a lot on the market for $30 million, $30 million, just the lot alone, right? You can understand, and I never ask nobody about that, because where I live, every day I have to pass those lots, and I mean, nothing much is taking place there at the moment. But all of those policy measures by the government have contributed to the increase in the price of houses. When the People's National Party administration left in 2016, a one-bedroom house cost $7 million. It is now costing $14 million minimum for a one-bedroom house.
Yes.
A two-bedroom house at the time was costing about $12-13 million. It is now costing upwards of $20 million for a two-bedroom house. So on any account, this government has contributed to the price of houses going out of the reach of ordinary citizens.
Yeah.
And that is why we are going to be building that 50,000 houses that will ensure 50,000 families in Jamaica be able to own a piece of this rock.
For those who are just joining us, we're speaking to Senator Professor Floyd Morris. He is the opposition spokesperson on housing and sustainable living. My other co-hosts are Wilfred Radigan from Reason Radigan and our own head boy. Professor, I want to ask you this question, Senator Morris. You said first-time buyers under the age of 35 will receive a $500,000 grant, not a loan. Tell us something more about that.
Okay, so what we decided to do, we have decided to stop the annual extraction of $11.4 billion from the NHT to supplement the budget. And we are going to be pumping back that into the NHT to contribute to building houses for the people. And also, we will be setting up a $1 billion fund. Out of that, every year we are going to take $1 billion and put it aside for young people up to the age of 35 to get a grant to pay for the deposit on their house. There are different formulations in terms of housing development where you have to pay for pay down a deposit.
Yes.
And we are going to be providing young people who, a lot of them just graduate from university and they start to work and they want to own their own home. And in those cases where, they are asked to provide a deposit, they can't find the deposit to pay for the houses. So we are going to make sure that once they are contributors to the NHT, they would be able to access that grant, and 2,000 young persons will be able to access that on an annual basis. And remember, when we're talking about a grant, it is not a loan. It's not something that you'll pay back for. We are giving our young people that to contribute to their own homes in Jamaica.
Sorry, Hello? Mr. Rattigan. Thank you for your answer, Senator. Mr. Rattigan, go ahead. I have some more questions, Senator. How long can you stay with us?
I'm at your behest.
Thank you very much, sir. I've never heard a guest come on and tell me that before. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Rattigan, go ahead.
Yes, Senator. You mentioned 500,000 in grant to a number of young people.
First-time buyers.
Right. You're going to have a lot of people vying for that. What will be the qualifications, or what are the qualifications if you have them?
Well, the NHT has mechanisms to deal with that. And I am certain that we will make sure we put in place the criteria to make those who are most deserving of the benefit receive it. And I guess we would also look at, the different demographics, whether it be teachers and nurses and so forth, because you want to make sure that you are supporting national development. So, that is my initial thinking and response to that. But definitely the criteria that we would be looking at is one, individuals up to age 35, and two, these are individuals who are contributors to the NHT. They have to be contributors to the NHT.
So in other words, they have to be working then, because a lot of the people that I'm related to by blood and other association, they're not working. And so they're asking me about housing as a solution to their problem. And they're saying, well, so I don't know how they're going to take this now when they hear that, well, you have to be a contributor to NHT. Because most of them, they're hustlers, they're not contributing to NHT.
But this is what we have said. We have said from the outset that, you have to be contributing to the NHT, right? Because that is how you are able to allocate NHT resources in terms of those who are contributing. But as I said, those individuals who are not contributing to the NHT will be able to benefit from our housing initiative through the rent to buy schemes, right? And this is where people who are farmers, a lot of farmers don't contribute to the NHT. A lot of barbers and hairdressers and so forth don't contribute to the NHT. But through the rent to buy initiative, they will be able to rent one of the units. Then when we see how they contribute to their payments for their rent, we would be able to convert that into a mortgage facility, and then they will be able to own their home. If somebody is not working, it is going to be difficult for them to purchase a home. unless it is that they have somebody from overseas who is committed to paying the rent or the mortgage for them, right? And even so, that is where they would be able to access one of the units through the rent to buy initiative.
All right, that's what I was kind of alluding to. That they're not working, but somebody would be able to support them.
Yes.
But let me do a quick follow up here. The government recently, since I think it was last year or so, they announced a plan where, and I don't know if it was new or an existing plan that they sought to revive, but they said that you own the land, they build a house, and a myriad of questions came up concerning that plan. Is that something that you're looking to further, or you would just end that program?
So you're talking about the social,
Yes.
social housing program or the indigent housing. I think
Indigent
that's the program. You have the indigent housing.
The indigent housing.
Well, you know, indigent housing doesn't fall under my immediate portfolio because it comes under local government, right? But we certainly not going to support that what I call criminal policy, because you go and you tell a person who have them land to allow you they're giving you a house and you build on your land, and then you are going to tell the family that they cannot bequeath the property to any relative because the house belongs to the government. But the land belongs to the people. The land belongs to the people. And you want to take the people them land now and take and take your house, and what you're gonna do with it? Give it to somebody else? And the land belongs to the people. We in the People's National Party don't support that sort of approach.
No, right? They can't, because here's the thing: you're supposed to come into that program with land. So yes. how are they gonna take your land and give it and house and then give it to somebody? I mean, you have to have land to come into the program. So
so I believe that the minister, when he made the utterance, probably had a shot of something, you know, and so he wasn't thinking clearly, yeah. And you can't articulate public policy on a drunken tongue.
Like Mr. Warmington, eh? Let's not get into that part.
Absolutely.
Senator.
Well, apparently he had a thought. He had more than a thought, because he made that statement on several platforms. So including the post-cabinet briefing. So
yes, he did. Senator, you spoke about special interest rate for public sector workers. Tell us about that. Oh, Lord, I should have asked Headbar to come on first. Tell us about that. Have Headbar come on. Tell us about that, Senator.
What was that? You were saying something.
Yes, the special low interest rate for public sector workers. Tell us about that. How would that go?
Well, that is something that has been around for a long period of time, you know. I mean, as a means of incentivizing the public sector and to make sure that they contribute to national development. And in particular, it came around when we were having serious wage freeze and wage constraints, dating back to the Pattersonian era. And so, you know, various adjustments were done to the interest rate regime of the NHT. So, you know, dependent on the where you are, whether you are a nurse or you are a policeman or so forth, you would pay a particular interest rate. And under the current administration, changes were made to that regime, And that is what we are seeking to bring back to make sure that our public sector workers are incentivized to own a piece of this rock.
Head boy.
My final question to you, Senator, would be, we have, particularly on the developers side, yeah, I am deeply concerned that it's no xenophobia. The People's National Party, many of us, we have friends who are Chinese businessmen. But one of the things that concerns me, Senator, is the involvement of the Chinese now in the local, particularly the building of houses, yeah, and low-income houses. Particularly, I can point to one that's been built in your party chairman's constituency. Yes, that's been built right up Howard Avenue. Yeah,
Yes.
that's been built by the same firm that is doing Cornwall Regional. Yeah. No, my challenge with that,
And they are doing a development for HAJ in St. Catherine. I think it's called Catherine Estate.
Catherine Estate, that's correct. No, my challenge with it, Senator, I think I understood no problem with the Chinese coming in and doing roads. I totally understand that we brought them for roads. But what we are seeing happening now, particularly local contractors in St. Mary, who have had years of experience in building homes, working on major projects, they can't get a simple contract because they cannot, from a financial point of view, compete with these Chinese contractors who have the ability to go to the Exim Bank of China and get a bank comfort letter or a bank guarantee, yeah, and proceed in doing what they're doing. And so I am beckoning to you, Senator, that when you go there, we need to revive look at the special guarantees program. Because remember, we had Dexim Wallet, yeah.
Yes.
We need to look at it, and we need to create from amongst our young engineers, contractors, and builders to give them back a sense that their work, their time in school to study, don't mean them have to come be an apprentice or an understudy to no Chinese. Mark you, I have nothing against our Chinese investors. We welcome investors.
Your point is very clear. One of the things that you I am privileged of is, coming out of academia, you appreciate the need for research so that you have a data-centric approach to policy formulation. And I have a team of individuals that have been working with me on my task force, that give tremendous support. And some of the things that you have articulated in terms of what is taking place in the construction sector, we have picked up. We have had consultations with different players in the housing sector. And, one of the things that was pointed out to me is that the Chinese came in to construct roads and they got exemption for equipment to come in to do road construction. But they have morphed their operation into housing construction and is using those equipment that were specifically incentivized for road construction to be building houses, and in so doing, crowding out local players out of the market. And I say to our local housing contractors and developers, you have a friend, you have a brother, you have an individual who is very much sanguine with the issues and very sympathetic with the cause of national development. And we will have a discussion. Some of them have already indicated to me that we need to make some special provision for them to take in equipment. Because
Yes.
if it is that when we are building these 50,000 houses, we're going to want speed and we are going to want efficiency. And if we are going to get speed and efficiency, we're going to have to make sure that modern technology plays a critical role. And some of the equipment that are needed to drive the speed and the efficiency, you will have to get that from overseas. And so I have spoken to my leader about it. I have spoken to Julian Robinson about it. We haven't made a decision on it, but I want to let them know that I'm making already strong representation where that is concerned, because there is no way the 50,000 houses is going to be given to just overseas players and our local people just get the crumbs. We want them to be a major stakeholder. And as I said, to local investors, you owe me, you owe Floyd Morris nothing. Once Mark Golding decides that I am the man who will sit in the chair as the housing minister, no contractor must feel that they owe me any obligation, because I want absolutely nothing from them in the form of kickbacks.
Yeah.
You get your contract, go out there and do the work to the best of your ability and let us deliver on time. Because you see, why, head boy, why Mr. Radical, why Mr. Tavares, I want to adopt that sort of approach. You see, when time them not delivering, I must be able to hold them accountable.
Yes.
And I not going to hold back my mouth and say, you're not performing. And me a fear say, boy, me can't talk because, boy, somebody have secret for me. I want to make sure say that when me I do my work, me do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Yes.
One follow-up on that one, Senator, the final follow-up on that one. The Jamaica Mortgage Bank. I have been watching the developments with the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. And let me say how ashamed I am of the Jamaica Labour Party government for attempting to sell off the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, which is a very important institution, which was used as a pillar in the foundation of the Operation Pride Homes, and a lot of those HAJ schemes. Will the PNP reverse the decision to sell the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, or will the PNP seek to pitch the Jamaica Mortgage Bank to a well-interested and diverse diaspora to particularly maybe float a bond, that like what was done with Trans Jamaica Highway, so that in some of the instances, like for the rent to own scenario, the funds could be tapped into from the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. Because why I'm fearful of the sale of the Jamaica Mortgage Bank, Minister, is that I believe it is going to be held by an oligarch.
But Ed boy, I think that horse might have bolted already, because
They completed the sale?
Pardon me?
They completed the sale?
I understand that it is very, very advanced.
Oh my God.
Because I had similar concerns that you have.
Yes.
And when I checked, I was told that the transaction is very advanced and they were supposed to make an announcement on their decisions. So, it was. I need to do some follow up now that you have raised it here.
Absolutely. Thank you,
I
Senator.
understand that horse bolted.
Yeah.
Senator Morris, my next question to you, sir, is this. You have a 3 months grace period before mortgage payment. Tell us some more about that one.
Yeah, again, we have been, let me tell you something, and this is why I am prepared to do everything that is legal to make Mark Golding be the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, because I have seen him at work, and at every stage, he is thinking about how we can make it easier and better for the people. So when I go to shadow cabinet, we all as spokespersons have to come with a plan for our portfolio and present to shadow cabinet. And serious questions are asked right down to the issue of funding. And, the leader in his wisdom said to us, look, when people purchase them home, when they purchase their home, by the end of the transaction, they are broke. They don't have any money to purchase, you know, a fridge or a stove or any any anything like that in their house. So the leader said, look, man, let us give the people a 3 month moratorium so that they can recoup and they can buy a fridge or a bed or a sofa for their house that they are going to be moving in. And that is why we have thought about that moratorium period, because we want to further empower and strengthen the hands of the new homeowners.
Sorry, Senator.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I have a lady in line here who wants to ask a question, and she's somebody who she keep on telling the Jamaican people and others that she never go to school. Yes. But listening to her, Senator, she could be the next Minister of Industry and the next Finance Minister of this country. Her name is Miss P. Miss P, go ahead for Senator.
Yes.
Good night, Senator. Good night, everyone on the panel.
Yeah, good night. Good
Senator,
night.
I am from the parish of St. Mary, right over Mangrave, we come from. So my people got your school too.
Yes.
However, my proposal is a proposal. Persons like me and others who have been contributing to NHT for over some 30 years. Me personally, I've never get a benefit from NHT. Why? I've been working in the security industry and then been collecting our money with milk for years. And when you turn up at the NHT, they know you're not. Now, person like me will cross 50. If I wish you, Marky G, you could have put a proposal for us, is it then stop drawing money or make something special for people like me? Just a proposal, And done one time, we understand. But to help say, it's not only the 35 and so you have people who are 60, 65, 70, 55, over 50 who have been contributing and still contributing and never get nothing. I've never get a return. One time they send on something from my phone and say me pull up it. When me pull up it and they hand me back say, not applicable. I used to work with a company, then give me one farm name, P40, P40, something like that. and I've never get help from NHT. And now I'm still contributing to NHT. I'm contributing to NHT from the 90s, and I have never get a benefit. So just to say, if you can shuffle your plan and whatever you can make out of it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller, for your insightful comments. And just to say that a couple of things. One, every worker, and this is my advice to every worker in Jamaica, make sure that at the end of the financial year, you check with your organization that you are working with to ensure that your NHT funds or your NIS funds are being repatriated, sent over to the respective government agency. That is the NIS or the NHT. When you check with your institution that you're working with, you also check with the NIS or the NHT for verification to make sure that your monies are going to them. Now, if it is that you find out that there are discrepancies, that your money not going over to them, there's a form that your company is supposed to give you. Yeah, entitled by law to provide to you. You take that form to the NHT and make sure, or the NIS, and make sure that they have it there, they get a copy, because they can take action based on the law against the company for not handing over the monies to the institution, because the monies now become the custody of the NHT or the NIS. And so they are able to take legal action against the company that you're working with that is collecting your money and not sending it over. Now, once your money goes to the NHT, this is what we're talking about now. Once it goes to the NHT, over a period of time, if you don't get any benefit, and even if you get a benefit, you get a contribution refund. And that contribution refund can either come back to you personally, if you don't have a live mortgage, or it will go to your mortgage if it is that you are the beneficiary of a house. In this instance, you say you have not received a mortgage from them, so you are supposed to get a contribution refund, and that is based on an 8-year cycle. So if it is that you contributed to the NHT, say in 2015, you would be able to collect that refund the 1st of January, and you still can collect it now.
Senator, a lot of companies in our country has taken the Jamaican people little tuppence halfpenny they're supposed to pay over to NHT and don't pay it over. Yes. I want to switch away from housing and switch to something else. I know I didn't come over to talk about that, but I want to switch to the election that is coming up, Senator Morris. Do you think that? Let me ask it this way: you believe, or do you think that your party should request for the Carter Center to come on in to observe the election coming up?
Well, you know, I mean, I think it is would be a fair request. And generally, these institutions from outside would come and give support through, you know, CAFE, I think it is, through the Citizens Action for Free and Fair Election. So, you know, I think that in light of utterances that I've heard from the platform where people are claiming ownership of Jamaica as if, you know, it has been bequeathed to them, I think we need to make sure that we have monitoring systems in place for the election. So I wouldn't have a problem with such a request, but I know that they always come through the Citizens Action for Free and Fair election. So I am hoping that they will come.
Mr. Rattigan?
Yes, Senator. 4 questions here, but in the interest of time, I don't want pressure you. I'm going to just ask you one, and if time permitting, depending on how long you take to answer, I may ask you a second one.
All right.
I get a chance to ask all 4. But following in the footsteps of Mr. Tavares, I want to deviate from the housing matter and talk to you about something relating to the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a constitutional amendment that's being it's not an amendment, it's several things are amending, and it's before the parliament, and at some point it will be debated and voted on. Please give us your assessment of what do you think this discussion will be about, and is it even worth having a discussion if they cannot get the 2/3 of the Senate? We know they're going to get the 2/3 in the House, but if they cannot get the 2/3 in the Senate, there is a provision whereby they can still move it to a referendum. But before we even get to that, just kind of give us a Reader's Digest version of what the discussion will be, at least from your side, concerning the amendments being put forward to amend the Constitution.
Well, I mean, I'm happy that you raised the matter, Mr. Radican, because, I want to say to the public, to the diaspora, and to Jamaicans at large that issue is dead, because remember, the parliament is now on recess, right? And we are going into an election. At any point in time now, Parliament will be prorogued. Mm-hmm. And once Parliament is prorogued, all those bills, all those documents that have been tabled would become non-existent. So it's a new administration that will start, and the legislative period would start all over again. So I don't want Jamaicans to be fooled or to believe that the issue is alive, because there are certain time frames that bills have to be tabled in the parliament and laid. The Constitution spells it out quite clearly, and I don't want to misinform the public as I wasn't prepared to come and speak about this matter. But I mean, I know that the time frame is there in the Constitution as to how bills for constitutional amendment are treated, the time frame that has to be placed, and so forth. But the long and short of it is that it is not going to happen for the remainder of this political term. And the People's National Party, we have signaled already through the leader of the opposition and the spokesperson on constitutional reform matters, Senator Scott Motley, that we are very much interested in constitutional reform. We are very much interested in delinking our connections to the monarchy in Britain. We are intent on repatriating the final appellate court of Jamaica to the Caribbean Court of Justice. And we are committed to having dialogue in a real way with the Jamaican people as to how we proceed with constitutional reforms. And so early out in the new term, once we win the election, we are going to commence that process.
So it sounds to me as if what I'm reading between the lines, and based on the time factor and based on the issues raised, the government just wasted billions, I believe, of taxpayers' money for a process.
And still wasting, because I hear advertisements on radio saying, and television saying, we are on the way to a republic, and we are on the way to a republic, but I don't want them to let the Jamaican people believe that it is going to be during this political term, because it is not possible.
Let me just follow up with a different type of question, one that is not governed by time. It's governed by ethics, and that is the housing portfolio within the office of the Prime Minister, HAJ, and the other one. They're run by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Norman Brown, who happens to be a business partner and an associate of the Prime Minister. Now, your administration has taken the reins of power. How do you see something like this playing out in your administration, where your business partner, your friend, is working in your portfolio, or working in some portfolio where he has all of this power and all, from an ethical standpoint, and also from a conflict of interest? Do you see anything like this happen? Would you allow this to happen in your administration? And if not, why not?
Well, there are rules in terms of protocols and how we should treat with these matters, and I clearly intend to abide by the rules that are set out, because at the end of the day, I have to preserve my reputation. But obviously, some people don't believe that it is a problem to have a business partner leading an institution that falls under their portfolio. I mean, I just can't understand it, because it is the source of a lot of the problems and concerns that have been highlighted by the Integrity Commission. And I remember I went to the 2020 swearing-in ceremony at King's House, and my wife always laughed at me, Mr. Radigan, because at that time, very few PNP members wanted to go out in the public space based on the devastation that had taken place. And so I was at King's House at the swearing-in of the Prime Minister, and he said he will not allow one iota or hint of corruption to be tolerated in his government. And that is why, let me tell you something. You see me? And I beat my chest, because Andrew is somebody when we did check for a whole lot. I mean, me and Andrew came into Parliament the same year. I mean, he came in 98 after a by-election.
Yeah.
And he won. And we have had very good relationships over the years. But you see, based on what I have seen revealed through the work of that competent institution, the Integrity Commission, that has brought multiple cases to court, and I've never lost one of them. When I see all that is coming out of that institution with the Prime Minister, I have to stay. I have to distance myself. I have to distance myself from him. We need a change. We need a Prime Minister who can have his statutory declaration certified. We need a prime minister who no one can question his integrity. This prime minister is the first time in the history of Jamaica that we have a prime minister who has been investigated by an institution for illicit enrichment. It is the first time in the history of Jamaica. It don't sit well with me, because you see, a prime minister, he's the chief servant, and he has to lead by example. I heard the prime minister making a call on young people to turn away from a life of crime. Turn away from a life of crime. Crime no mean just people murdering people out there in the street, you know. Crime involve corrupt practices. And if young people see and read the reports coming out of Parliament from the Integrity Commission and see all that they have seen and read about the Prime Minister, you think so that them are going to heed to that they call from the Prime Minister?
You finished, Mr. Arthur?
If you'll allow me, I have one question.
Go ahead.
All right.
Senator said that we have him until about
be here.
10 minutes to 10.
No remind him or not, man. But that's how remind him.
Hey, I don't want you all to put my goodly parish in. I know him can handle himself, but I don't want you to put him
I see my wife is now indicating that I need to
wrap up
to eat.
Yes.
Oh man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm enjoying it.
No, you mentioned the Integrity Commission, and I have some serious, grave issues with the Integrity Commission, the way they have conducted, the way that has conducted itself concerning certain investigations. For example, it is stated in the Integrity Commission Act of 2017 that if somebody is being investigated and not cooperating, the Integrity Commission has the unfettered right to go and seek an ex parte order from a judge. So in the case of the Prime Minister, that is exactly what they should have done. And look at the optics now. They get the order and they compel him now to do the things that he didn't want to do. You know what he's going to have to do? He's going to have to fight that. And you can imagine the optics now that the Prime Minister is in court fighting the Integrity Commission about information that he should have provided them. They didn't do that. What they did, they took the easy way out and they referred it to FID. I did not like that. And there are some other things they did that I didn't like. For example, whenever the corruption prosecutor decided not to prosecute the commission under the law, they could have gone to the DPP and asked for an opinion. It doesn't matter to me what her opinion would have been. The fact that you would have brought her into the mix. So now if you're going to show corruption, if you're going to show a lack of attention to detail, a lack of attention to doing what you're supposed to do, you bring everybody in. And I could go on and on and on. But here's a question I want to ask. Recently, there has been a clarion call, and there was a vote, as a matter of fact, to remove the Auditor General from the Integrity Commission. And I find it quite interesting because the Auditor General's position is the only one that's named as a commissioner. The commission is composed of 2 retired judges, whether from the Appellate Court of Appeal or Supreme Court, 1 senior retired civil servant, and a person from a non-governmental organization, and the Auditor General. No, you can't, that is a position. And the thing is, they just amended the Constitution to have her stay in position until 65. This Auditor General is about 59 or so. So she has some time left. And you can only remove an Auditor General for mental, physical impediments, or if they're acting against their stated duties and roles. For example, corruption. You can't really move somebody like that. And I went back and I look at the Hansard proceedings, and it's amazing that some of the people who supported this thing, now they're coming out and they say they want to remove her, and the arguments are they're just ridiculous.
Well, you know, let me tell you. Go ahead.
Yeah, the question I'm gonna ask is this is gonna they're trying to amend the amend the law, the Integrity Commission Act of 2017. It's gonna come your way. Are you prepared to what is your strategy if you have thought about it at this point? Because you know you may not have, because it may not get to you before a new government is installed. But let's just say it's before you. How do you reason with the other side concerning this action that they're taking?
Well, you know, let me tell you something. You see, anything to weaken the Integrity Commission, I'm fundamentally opposed to it, because any modern democracy must have an institutional buffer to protect the citizen from ravenous and corrupt pickpocketing politicians. And one of the things that I pointed out to individuals is the global picture of the Auditor General. In this case, it's a she. She is able to see the different ministries, and she has information or access to information that a lot of the other members of the Integrity Commission are not able to see. And that is why they want to move her from the entity. It's not the fact that she has to audit the Integrity Commission. It's not that. That is not the issue. Are them claiming conflict of interest? That is not the issue, right? I mean, because the entity has been audited for years and they have not had a problem with it. The problem is that her global eyes enables her to see things that others are not able to see from the commission. And so, you know, I know where I stand on the matter. You know, it pains me.
Senator, may I interrupt you for a second? Quickly, you said her global eyes are looking at ministries and she's seeing things that they can't see. That's true. But this was the case back in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24. So why is it they're doing it now?
Yeah, but this is the point that I'm making, because I mean, people are being exposed more now, and you see where the Prime Minister himself is being implicated. Remember, it has now morphed to about 10 parliamentarians, you know, being investigated for illicit enrichment, you know. And so people are being exposed and coming under pressure more and more. So that is why you see this assault, this attack, in order to minimize and restrict the institution of the Integrity Commission. And good law-abiding citizens must reject it, and we mustn't be caught into this thing where we are say, boy, I mean, them after the Prime Minister because he is a Labourite, right? The Integrity Commission have taken people from both sides of the political divide to court. And at all times, the Integrity Commission has won those cases. And if they have won those cases, it means that they are doing something right where their investigation is concerned. And when politicians can control an institution or the staff in the institution, they resort to maligning and demean and destroy the institution, and then they drag into the whole population to say, oh, the institution is ineffective. But when you look at the data, it is saying something else. And the final point that I want to make on this thing here, you see,
yes,
in 2017, this legislation was prepared by the People's National Party under the leadership of Mark Golding, who was Minister of Justice and also chairman for the Legislative Committee of Cabinet. And because of the 2016 election results, we never got the opportunity to implement the law, but it was quite advanced, and the government did a review and made amendments and adjustments to it, including strengthening some of the penalties, right? And the provision for investigation for illicit enrichment was there. And the government implemented it. And when you look at the debate, I was a part of the debate in the parliament. And when you hear the utterances of the government members who are now hypocrites, take this legislation to court to have it struck down to say that, it is unconstitutional. So you're telling me that the government continue to violate the constitutional right of the Jamaican people by carrying a legislation that they know, based on what they have done now, they know that it was unconstitutional. I'm not saying it isn't, but based on what the Prime Minister has done, this is what he's saying. I knew that it was unconstitutional, but now that I am implicated in this matter, I am going to carry it to the court. If the Prime Minister don't have to carry this to court, for it to be struck down, if he knows it's unconstitutional, I hope the Jamaican people understand what is going on, Because indeed, to just, if he's so convinced that it is unconstitutional, he just need to go parliament and make an amendment to the constitution, to the law.
yes.
This is not a constitutional bill, It is a statute that have been passed in the parliament and never require no 2/3 majority or anything like that. The Prime Minister have 48 men and women behind him, plus 13 in the Senate, when he can amend the Integrity Act and change it. But the Prime Minister make a big song and dance and carry it down a court.
What Senator never have to, but we mustn't forget, that when this bill, the Parliament not pass law, don't pass bills, and then where it go? It go to the Attorney General to review for constitutional sufficiency.
No, you get the process wrong. You have to go to the Attorney General.
Sorry, the Attorney General. Yeah, the Attorney General.
It have to go to him first before it comes to the Parliament.
Okay.
Right? He has to review it, right? Before it comes to the Parliament. And then once it comes to the Parliament and is debated, then it is signed by the President. It goes to the Governor General, and the Governor General also have a team of lawyers who form his Privy Council that he can ask to review these bills before he gives his assent,
Senator, I have to have you come back, because honestly, Senator, you go down a road a while ago. You said the GG has his lawyers. And my question I want to ask you when you come back is this: if the GG have his lawyers, why did the GG lawyers advise the Governor General to sign off on unconstitutional state of public emergency.
All right, well, that's another
yes.
series
There's two other thing
on debate.
Another debate also, because I want to ask you a question. My final question to you tonight, though, is this. I want to listen to an audio clipping from a well-known senator in the Senate, and this is no AI-generated audio. This is him. I want you to listen to what he said. Hold on for me. Hold on for me, Senator.
Okay.
Here we go.
Something you say, guy. You're going to start learning something you say, guy. Whether you want to celebrate the pitfalls or setback that Jamaica may suffer or not, no point will be scored for you or the pathetic PNP of which you are a part. I want you to understand that in very clear terms, because you guys are at a new low in terms of just how pathetic you guys are. Mark Golding, Conrad O'Brien, this Jeffrey fellow, Ralston Hyman, Peter Bunting, you are all a pathetic set, seeking to essentially celebrate negatives. So what do travel advisories mean in the grand scheme of things for people who rely on our tourism product? You don't even care about that. And that's why I said what I said last week. You guys would want to get to Jamaica House, even if it means swimming in the blood of your Jamaican brothers and sisters. But guess what is the reality, guy? Guess what is the reality? The sheriff is in town now. Marlon Morgan is on the park now. It's a different ball game now. So when I buck Peter Bunting in the Senate and lick him in him clot, whoever want try take it off of him, try take it off of him if nobody. Watch the ride, blood. Watch the ride.
Senator, my question to you tonight, sir, as you wrap up, I'll make you go. You heard the Minister of Local Government said that they would never surrender Jamaica to the People's National Party. You hear the sheriff of the Jamaica Labour Party, who I dubbed him as Idiot Amin.
Rightly so.
Who on a voice note mentioned that Peter Bunting, myself, Jeffrey Tavares, Conrad O'Brien of New Start 93, Ralston Hyman, and the leader of opposition, Mark Jefferson Golding, will rather swim in the blood of the Jamaican people. Do you believe, Senator, that Mr. Morgan should still sit in the Senate of this country?
He should have been there from the start. And I tell you, I have pointed out to my colleagues in the Senate that these guys come into the parliament and instead of defending the Jamaican people, they defend their leader and their political party. And they have to sing for their support because if the Jamaica Labour Party is out of power, where would they go? How would they survive? And
I think he will go back up to Belmont Road and eat some of Gilatone's bread and syrup.
Well, possibly. But I say that if you look at the history of the parliament,
yes, sir,
over the years, those of us who have survived the parliament and move on from term to term are those of us who come in and make meaningful contribution to policy formulation and legislative advancement. These guys will not fall into that category because they don't come there and make meaningful contribution to the policy agenda and the legislative agenda. They come to defend a leader, or they come to defend a political organization. And
Yes.
history will never celebrate them.
And on that note, I
Oh.
want to say thanks to Professor Senator Floyd Morris for coming up to
Jeffrey,
make the program.
before Senator
Yes.
go, just half of us a minute. Senator, I want to tell you that I am looking at the numbers. I'm not going to call any constituency name to give the JLP any idea. But I can tell you, from where I sit, I can comfortably say the PNP will win 43 seats in the upcoming election. Remember
Well,
that Ed Boy tell you that number, 43. That's my
you're
number.
not far from me.
Okay. All the best,
So,
Senator.
so,
You want to say so? Go ahead.
you say he's not far from you, Senator. So what's your number?
No, I mean, I'm not going to say on public.
Remember, no, we're not calling any constituencies, just the number.
Senator,
I am back to 2011.
Yes, and that
A
is why I
landslide
said what I
victory.
said.
Yes.
Yes.
Senator Floyd Morris, PNP, opposition People's National Party senator, who is the opposition shadow minister of Housing and Sustainable Living. I want to say thank you for coming on the Make We Talk program, sir. You
Thank you
have
very
given
much.
us an earful, and I
Yes,
pray and hope, Senator, that I can have you come back on to speak to us about the Governor General's lawyer, because Jamaicans want to understand how is it that the Governor General signed off on unconstitutional state of emergency if he has lawyers behind him. But that's one
Yes.
another topic.
Yes, well, talk to Peter Gay, and I'm certain that she will make the arrangement. All right.
I will do that, sir. Thanks very
Okay,
much, Professor.
Okay.
For coming on, sir.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank
all
you.
the best, comrade. All the
Okay.
best.
Bye-bye.
A very interesting conversation there with Professor Senator Floyd Morris, Shadow Minister of Housing and Sustainable Living of the People's National Party. Mr. Rattigan, the senator went down a road, and I expect him to go down that road with the GG.
Yeah, well, we've always said that the GG is not acting in the best interest of Jamaica, and we shouldn't expect any better, because he's just been rubber stamping everything that's been sent over to him.
But Ratty, not to cut you, a lot of people don't understand the closeness of the Governor General and the Prime Minister. I don't think people understand how close the Governor General is to even the Jamaica Labour Party.
Sweet there.
Remember now, the Governor General lives at Gibraltar Estate in St. Mary. Do you know who is his neighbor?
Bobby Montague.
Okay. Do you also know the Governor General's wife? Her family is from St. Mary, who they have been also active supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm not saying that the Governor General is active in politics or his wife, but I'm just showing you the connection. So don't expect. Remember, you had Olint, Remember, before the Governor General was Governor General, we had a scheme called Olint. The Governor General went around to churches. Nobody can tell me this, Ratty, because me know. Because he went
to churches.
The 70th and other churches. Him and a man by the name of Major Lewis went to the churches and tell them that God has stored up the wealth for the God is giving the wealth of the wicked to the righteous. So they must take their money and put it in a hole in. The Governor General convinced the Seventh-day Adventist Conference, which he's a part of, to invest almost $1 billion in Olint.
You can't find that. You have that speech there?
Huh?
You have that speech we make?
No, what they used to do, Ratty, they used to go around in a convoy, and they would go to different churches and come and speak to you. I'm going to go back to see if I can find any clipping from when he went to Al Miller's church, because he did a lot of persons at Al Miller's church also had invested in Olint. So when you see this guy, he has don't expect him to do anything otherwise from what Andrew Holness says to him, because of how close they are. And remember the same Olint in 2007, David Smith was flying around in his helicopter giving money to the Jamaica Labour Party as a part of their financing campaign. Yeah? He financed the Labour Party in 2007. Same Olint. Same Olint.
You know, as we come to the end of the program, it's now 5 minutes to 10 o'clock.
No, but Ratty was making a point, Jeffrey. Sorry, Ratty was making a point. But I just wanted the people to know, Ratty, how close the Governor General is to that political party.
Right. The Governor General, I have no faith, no confidence in this man. I call him the biggest leech in Jamaica because, I mean, he's getting over 500 million a year to run his office, and I guess the custos is that whatever.
All he does is go around and yam and kiss.
Yeah, we can't see anything coming out of that office that's beneficial to the people of Jamaica. I mean, I don't see it, but I'm open to being corrected. Somebody can show me and say, here is something that the Governor General is doing to help Jamaica. Because when I look at it, his loyalty is to the monarchy. And nobody can fire him in Jamaica. Nobody can carry him go to court, except if him commit, murder or something like that. But him can't carry him. In fact, this man don't pay any income tax. Him don't Integrity Commission can ask him for no statutory declaration. And ATIs, you can't get. In fact, ATIs is exempt from ATIs,
and he's exempt from interviews.
Yeah.
Can't be interviewed by no media house either here in Jamaica or overseas.
So I don't know.
So who him be?
He's
bro God.
The
real bro God.
The real bro God. Ratty, I love that one. That's the real bro God.
Real bro God. Yes.
Anyway, ladies and
gentlemen, and they talk about that, the real bro God. A quick joke. I watching the meeting, seeing the video in Central Kingston last night where them say shots were being fired. And I asked myself the question in Ratty, are these people for real? Are these people for real? Right? I see Mr. Williams duck. And then a couple of minutes after I tell them, Labour, stand firm, stand firm. So I wondered if it was a Donald Trump moment in what happened in Pennsylvania when he put up him and him say, fight. But somebody apparently, some acting was being done that wasn't rehearsed properly. Yeah?
No.
Because go ahead.
No, before we go, there's something that I just want to quickly make mention of. And that is, I don't know if it's recent or true, but I saw something where they said that they found 3 dozen pipe bombs and they arrested something like that. They found
out in St. Thomas area.
Yeah, that's recent, right?
That's recent. Just a week ago.
People if now watch it, they said this not good,
No, we're not surrender Jamaica. You remember the statement? We're not surrendering Jamaica. Right? The man them train 100 and 1,000 something young people in this special arm of the JDF, that they told they were going to give jobs. Right now, a lot of them not working in the army or in the police force. So what you think them busy doing now?
And
no ordinary citizen can operate and know nothing about a pipe bomb, You have to have some form of military grade training. Yeah?
You know to be blamed for that? The world-class minister of ambassador of plentiful.
Yes, man. Because I wanted to be a colonel, a full colonel, so they had to create another arm of the army, to give him the full-fledged colonelship. That's why they created the special program. It was not to help the youths, it was to give Rocky the full colonelship. Yeah, or is it brigadiership, Ratty?
No, them make him ambassador plenipotentiary. So
yes.
It's crazy. Refers to excellence. Asks what are pipe bombs doing in Jamaica? Refers to excellence. Watching news. Refers to how holy pipe bombs them find.
Yeah, this is the second. This is the second find.
No, third.
Third, yes.
It's the third one, starting with down at Darling Street when them find over what 200-300 pipe bombs. And then
Darling Street, you mean down Deadman Town?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then them find another batch again. Them find another batch again, and now them find one recently.
Under the bridge.
Not to mention the 1,000 sticks of dynamite. Them find an abandoned fridge. So this don't look good, people.
No, this is not looking good. Yeah, but all I can say to the people, fear not. Yeah, and we know what they're up to, Ratty and Jeffrey. We know what they're up to. So
I want to play a video here before I go, and I want to know something here. I am no investigated. I don't know about investigating in a crime or anything like that, or in a police work or whatever. But common sense must prevail. Mr. Rattigan, watch this video here for me. And what's your take on it? Because shooting happened in Central Kingston or wherever Kingston happened. And this man here, Jamaica's world-class Minister of Transportation, who every time he says something, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Listen to what he says.
When I was coming up New Street, Desmond, and I turned to come up the Hero Circle, I see some laborites that go down the road, and them say, boss, nobody go up there, no. The man, them a fire up a whole heap of shot. I say, oh, when I come close, I see a police car. I say, boss, be careful. I say, don't worry yourself, man. Let me tell you something. They are so desperate, Desmond, that they are prepared to do anything. But we not afraid of gunshot. No time at all. I'm gonna rush them like a pit bull.
Now tell me something now. You listen to how he speaks a while ago, Mr. Rattigan? Something not adding up here. You a whole barrage of gunshot the fire, and you forget about the police up here, you drive through same way?
I don't like the idea that they might call them boss either. I just don't like the idea that,
The Jamaican people will not learn.
And we'll talk about the things and when talk about half of them, most of Jamaican are done spot. We're going to talk about that.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed. This is where we're going to say so long for tonight. Thanks to Professor Floyd Morris for coming on. But before I go, your final word to the Jamaican people, Mr. Rattigan.
Final word is strap in, because it's going to be a wild ride, between now and the time of the election. Everything is likely to happen. But the one thing that you can count on is for us to prepare and to provide you with not only information, but the truth, and also to educate you about certain things that are happening that you won't find on mainstream media. You won't find them. This bus thing here, there are many more facets to it. We've done 2 parts already, and we have like another 2 or 3 parts to go, because the information is just flowing. Even today, I'm getting information about the buses. I'm just gonna show you how they've taken us for granted that they can do anything, and we won't say a word. And in truth and in fact, most people not saying a word, but we are. And so we will continue bringing the truth to you. Not only facts, because you can have some lied facts, to bring the truth to you, and so that you can decide what you're going to do. Because one of the things we say is that the Jamaican people, them just not seem, them just not seem aroused about the whole thing. Them just not seem enthusiastic. And this is like a year or 2 ago. Well, and people came up with it. People said, well, them afraid, and them this and them that. Well, the one thing we know about is that when you're going to that ballot box, it's just you and your conscience, the inside of so. You, your conscience, your God, and you think about your candidate. So this is a chance for you to register your disapproval now. Since you can't register it publicly, you can register it in the privacy of the booth now and make them know how you truly feel. And we'll look forward to that. And we will do everything that we can to provide information so that people can become informed, well-informed voters. That's the magic we're working with, and we're going to continue.
Yes, sir. Head boy.
My one word, my one is the first. I'm going to be so short. my one single thing to the Jamaican people. Help us to help Jamaica to stop the thief. Yeah? Help us to help Jamaica to stop the thief. The choice is yours. Either you take the thief or you take somebody who we think is not looking to thief. It is simple. Yeah? Either you work with the thief or you take somebody you think is not looking to thief. In plain language, as we look, Jamaica is at a crossroads. We have a chance to build a country that can become a force to reckon with. We already are a force to reckon with in certain areas. Let us, in every area, nook and cranny, in the diaspora, encourage our people to go out and vote. Go out and vote. You know who to vote for. Obviously, I will tell you that I have no fear in saying that I believe every well-thinking Jamaican should give Mark Golding a chance, because we have seen 2 terms of Andrew Holness, uncertified Andrew, by the way. Yeah, 2 terms of the uncertified Prime Minister. I believe Jamaica deserves better. Our international reputation deserves better. Our future deserves better. And should Mark Golding go and do the same, I can assure you, the same way I'm encouraging you to vote for him, I will be the first voice to say, vote him out. I have said that to the PNP, and I'm not afraid to say it anywhere. All the best to you. All the best to your listeners, Jeffrey and Ratty.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
My final word before you all go is this. It is today that our best work can be done, not some future days or future years. The sense of urgency is what we must have today. Knowing, as the saying goes, eternal virtue is the price of liberty. The price of liberty, my Jamaican people, is to stay alert, seek the truth, and to actively participate in the fight, the soul of this Jamaica land we love. Have a great night, everybody. On behalf of Wilfred Radican, Ed Boy, on behalf of Professor Claude Mark, being a part of this program. May God bless you. May God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.